everyone. Welcome to Digital Pulse.
Always great to be here.
Today, we're going deep on BE golf with you. Sounds like you're trying to, lower your scores. And this book by coaches Ben Bakken and Chad Elledge.
Was co-author Mike O'Malley.
Yeah, with Mike O'Malley, too. Might be that secret weapon you're looking for.
Yeah, these guys, they've coached tons of golfers.
From amateurs to pros, right?
Absolutely, from amateurs all the way up to the pros. And their approach is all about what they call player-centric. Really figuring out what makes you tick on the course.
I love that about the book. It's not just like, here's the one perfect swing.
Yeah.
It's about understanding yourself.
Yeah.
What are your strengths?
Weaknesses.
Mindset, all of it.
Okay.
So let's unpack this whole BE golf philosophy. Where do they even begin with this?
So they start with this idea that improvement comes from understanding 6 key elements. The player. You, right? Your movement.
Right.
Your mental game, how you manage yourself out there, ball control skills.
Can you actually hit the shots you want to?
Right. Can you shape it? Can you hit it high? Can you hit it low? And then the game itself and your equipment.
So it's like a holistic approach. It's not just about mechanics.
It is. They emphasize how all these pieces fit together. You can't just focus on one and ignore the others.
Right. They all affect each other. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty, I noticed they talk a lot about progression in learning. What's their take on that?
They lay out a 4-step learning progression, and it makes a lot of sense. Step 1 is understanding why.
Yeah.
Why did that shot slice? Why did I shank that iron? It's about getting curious.
And figuring it out.
Figuring out the cause and effect.
Okay, so step 1 is like golf detective. I like it.
Yeah.
What's next?
So then step 2, that's where structured training comes in.
Okay.
Ideally, this means working with a coach, someone who can give you objective feedback, because let's face it, we don't always see our own swing flaws.
Right. We all need a second set of eyes. Sometimes video replay.
For sure. Then step 3, this is where it gets really interesting. They call it game-like training, and it's about bridging the gap between the range and the actual course.
Okay, so no more just mindlessly hitting balls, hoping something sticks.
Right. It's about practicing with intention. You're trying to simulate the pressure and the decision-making you face on the course.
So how do you do that?
So maybe try visualizing yourself on your favorite course when you practice,
Mm-hmm.
or set up different targets and challenges.
Let's have a break up the monotony.
Right, to make it more like the game.
That's brilliant. So it's all about making practice more engaging,
More relevant.
more relevant.
Mhm.
Okay,
But-
what about step 4? How do we tie it all together?
Step 4 is where you take all that hard work and you apply it on the course. You're dealing with all the variables, the wind, the lies, the pressure, and trusting the skills that you've developed.
It's game time.
It is. It's game time.
Okay, so the progression is understand why, get structured feedback, simulate real game pressure, and then go out and conquer the course.
That's it. That's it. It's a logical and effective way to approach improvement.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, they also lay out 10 BE golf principles. These sound like their secret sauce.
Yeah. Their secret sauce for unlocking your potential.
Okay. All right, let's dive into the first principle, BE free. This one seems pretty central to their whole philosophy. What's it all about?
It's about finding that effortless, free-swinging motion that all the greats have, you know?
Like a well-oiled machine.
Think of it like a well-oiled machine,
Yeah.
moving smoothly and powerfully without any unnecessary tension or hitches. They even quote Tiger Woods in there,
Oh, really?
who
Wow.
famously says, swing the club, don't hit the ball.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that analogy.
It's just letting go and trusting your body to do what it knows how to do.
Absolutely. And this principle, I think, is especially interesting when you look at it through the lens of motor skill learning. Have you ever heard of the 3 phases? Cognitive, associative, and autonomous.
Yeah,
Do you want to give us a quick refresher?
sure. So in the cognitive phase, you're just starting out. You're thinking about every little detail, grip, stance, swing plane. It feels
Sure.
clunky and awkward.
Makes sense. Like when you first learn to drive a stick shift, it's that initial learning curve.
It is. You're trying to figure everything out.
Yeah.
Then you move into the associative phase where you start to connect the dots. If I do this with my grip, the ball does that. You're still thinking, but things are starting to click.
Right. You get that aha moment when you finally hit a solid shot and you're like, oh, I get it now.
That's it. And then finally, with enough practice, you reach that autonomous phase. This is where muscle memory takes over. You can just swing without thinking about the mechanics.
It's the holy grail, right? Effortless golf.
It is, but here's the thing. It's actually harder to break bad habits once you're in that autonomous phase.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because those movements are so ingrained.
They're just in there.
They're in there.
So building good habits early on is crucial.
It's crucial.
Yeah, that's where BE Free comes in.
Right.
It's about finding that natural fluid motion from the start.
Absolutely. It's about laying a strong foundation for effortless, powerful golf.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, let's move on to principle number 2. Be process-focused. What's their thinking on this one?
This one,
Right. Yeah, too many swing thoughts. Too much mental clutter.
they use a great analogy. Imagine you're trying to throw a baseball to first base while simultaneously thinking about your grip, your elbow position, your shoulder turn, and your follow-through.
Yeah, you'd probably end up throwing it over the fence.
We're beaning the runner.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same with golf.
Absolutely.
Overthinking leads to tension. Inconsistent swings.
Yeah. They're big believers in keeping it simple,
Mm.
committing to one clear intention.
Okay, so one swing thought. Full commitment. I like it. What's next?
Principle number 4 is be coachable. This one really resonated with me because it shifts the focus to feedback and learning from your mistakes.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
So they suggest looking at the ball as your ultimate teacher.
The ball.
The ball.
Okay.
Because the ball gives you objective feedback. It doesn't lie. It doesn't sugarcoat. It doesn't have any emotional baggage.
Right.
It simply goes where your club sends it.
Right.
And they encourage golfers to analyze their ball flight,
The trajectory.
the trajectory, the curve, the distance to understand what happened at impact.
Instead of just like getting frustrated.
Instead of guessing or getting frustrated,
The ball flight is data.
it's data.
Yeah.
And you're collaborating with it to improve your swing.
I love that.
That's-
It's like the ball becomes your coach.
The ball is your coach.
All right. Okay. On to principle number 5. Be skillful. What skills are we talking about here?
So they break it down into 2 categories, mental skills and ball control skills.
Makes sense.
Both are crucial for playing your best.
Okay. Let's start with mental skills. What do they have to say about that?
So they borrow a concept from Stanford psychologist Carol Dweck
Mhm.
called growth mindset.
Yes.
It's this idea that your abilities aren't fixed. You can always learn and improve with effort and the right strategies.
It's believing you can get better.
Believing you can get better.
Yeah.
And they contrast this with a fixed mindset where people believe their abilities are set in stone. And this can really hold you back because if you don't believe you can improve, you're less likely to put in the work.
Right? You're just going to be like, well, I'm just not a good putter, I guess.
That's it.
And give up.
So a growth mindset is essential for golfers who want to get better.
For sure. Okay, so what about ball control skills? Where do they focus there?
So they divide ball control skills into 3 main areas: striking, wedging, and putting.
Mhm.
So that pretty much covers every shot in the bag.
It does.
For striking, they emphasize the importance of solid contact, hitting the sweet spot consistently,
Yeah.
more distance, more accuracy.
Yeah, no more glancing blows.
No more glancing blows.
No more mishits.
It's about making clean contact, good technique and practice. Now for wedging, it's all about precision, controlling the trajectory of the ball,
Okay. So knowing how high to hit it?
knowing how high to hit it, where to land it on the green, how much it's going to roll.
Yeah.
They introduced this concept called ratios, which is all about understanding how far the ball's going to roll after it lands,
Mm.
based on the loft of the club,
Right.
how steeply the ball's coming down.
So a high, soft lob wedge is going to land softly and roll less than a low running chip.
Exactly. It's all about understanding those relationships between trajectory, loft, and rollout.
Okay.
Get the ball close to the pin.
All right. Last but not least, putting. What are the key takeaways for that?
So they believe putting success boils down to 3 things: speed control, reading the greens,
Mm-hmm.
and starting the ball on your intended line.
Which sounds simple enough, but I know it's harder than it looks.
Much harder. And they recommend checking out a system called Aim Point for green reading.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard of that?
I've heard of it. I haven't tried it.
It's a method that uses your feet and your body to feel the slope of the green.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not just guessing.
You're feeling it?
You're feeling it.
Oh, that's interesting. I'll have to look into that. Wow, we've already covered 5 of their 10 principles.
Uh-huh.
This BE golf philosophy is incredibly comprehensive.
It is, and we're just getting started. There's still a lot more to unpack, and I think you'll find their insights quite valuable.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, it's amazing how much they've managed to pack into this book.
I know, right?
And we're only halfway through the 10 principles.
Well, let's keep the momentum going with principle number 6, BE adaptable. I have a feeling this one is especially important for golfers.
It really is. They emphasize that change is constant in golf.
Mm-hmm.
You got the weather, the course conditions, even how you're feeling that day.
Yeah, right. Like physically and
It
mentally.
affects your game.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
being able to adapt to all those changing circumstances is crucial.
It's crucial. They actually go so far as to debunk the myth of consistency in golf.
Now you've got my attention. Tell me more about that.
They point out that every shot on the course is different. Different lies, different clubs, different wind conditions. Trying to swing the exact same way every time hoping for the same result just doesn't make sense.
So striving for like robotic consistency is actually counterproductive.
It can be, yeah. Instead, they encourage golfers to focus on developing a wide range of skills and the ability to adapt their strategy, their thinking, to whatever situation they encounter on the course.
That's a whole new way of thinking about it. So instead of consistency, it's about adaptability.
It's about adaptability, embracing the fact that change is inevitable and learning to adjust accordingly, becoming more versatile.
I love it. Okay, principle number 7, be self-aware. What's the key takeaway there?
This one's all about knowing yourself as a golfer.
Okay.
Your strengths, your weaknesses, your tendencies, and even your fears out on the course.
So it's about taking an honest look in the mirror.
It is, taking an honest look in the mirror. They argue that self-awareness is the foundation for all learning and development in golf.
Because if you don't know what you're doing wrong,
You can't fix it.
you can't fix it.
Right.
Yeah.
So they encourage golfers to pay attention to their internal dialogue, especially under pressure. Notice those negative thoughts or doubts creeping in, and to be mindful of their tendencies with certain clubs or shots.
Yeah. So like understand those mental and emotional factors that are affecting your game.
Absolutely. And once you're aware of them, you can start to manage them more effectively.
Right.
You know, you can choose to focus on a positive swing thought instead of dwelling on the last bad shot.
Right. Okay, on to principle number 8, be yourself. This one seems to tie in nicely with that whole player-centric approach.
It does. It reminds me of Jack Nicklaus's famous book, Golf My Way.
Yeah,
They point out that everyone has their own unique swing,
their own style.
their own style. There's no one-size-fits-all
Yeah.
approach to golf.
So don't try to copy someone else's swing, even if they're a pro, because
Yeah.
it might not work for your body type.
Exactly. It's about finding what works best for you, developing your own unique style, playing to your strengths.
It's about embracing your individuality out there on the golf course, which
Yeah.
I know can be tough when you're bombarded with all these like perfect swing videos and tips
Oh, it's everywhere.
online.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in that. But the Be It Yourself principle is all about tuning out the noise and discovering your own authentic way of playing the game.
I love it. Okay, 2 more principles to go. Principle number 9 is be accountable. What's their take on that?
This one's about taking ownership of your game and your improvement.
Okay.
Understanding that you're the one in control, the one responsible for your own success out there on the course.
So no more blaming it on the wind, the clubs.
Yes.
The noisy group on the next fairway.
Exactly. They emphasize how a victim mentality can keep you stuck. It's about shifting to a mindset of empowerment, recognizing that you have the power to make changes and improve your game shot by shot.
Yeah, it's easy to fall into that trap of making excuses,
Yeah.
but ultimately it is up to us.
It is.
Yeah.
They even use a powerful graphic in the book.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It shows how a victim mindset leads to stagnation, while a mindset of accountability fuels progress and growth.
Powerful. Okay, finally, principle number 10, be objective. This one sounds like a good one to end on.
It is. It's all about taking emotion out of the equation as much as possible.
Okay.
And learning to look at your game and each shot with clear, objective eyes.
So no more temper tantrums after a bad shot.
Hopefully not. They contrast the thought processes of what they call a subjective golfer versus an objective golfer.
Okay, curious. What's the difference?
The subjective golfer gets caught up in the drama, the emotional roller coaster of the game. They label shots as good or bad based on how they feel in the moment, and those feelings dictate their play. It's an emotional reaction rather than a strategic response.
Yeah, that sounds like a recipe for frustration and inconsistency.
It can be. The objective golfer, on the other hand, focuses on the facts.
Okay.
They analyze their ball flight without judgment.
Away.
They identify the cause of any misses and make adjustments based on that data, not on their feelings of frustration or disappointment.
It's a much more like balanced approach.
It is. Less drama, more solutions.
Less trauma, more solutions. I like it.
Exactly. And they offer some great tips for cultivating that objective mindset, like simply describing what the ball did without adding any judgment or emotional labels.
Okay.
Almost like a sports commentator.
So instead of saying, ugh, I hit a terrible shot into the water,
Right.
you'd say, the ball started right and landed in the water 150 yards away.
Exactly.
Just the fact.
That's the facts. It takes the sting out of it.
Yeah.
And allows you to learn from the experience without beating yourself up. You're simply observing and gathering information.
Like a scientist in the lab.
Like a scientist in a lab.
I love that. It's a much more constructive approach.
Yeah.
So we've now explored all 10 of their BE golf principles. And I have to say, it's incredibly impressive.
It is. They've really thought this through. And we're not done yet. They don't just focus on the mental game. They also provide practical strategies for putting these principles into action.
Now we're talking. This is where it gets really interesting. What kind of practical strategies do they offer?
Well, they have a whole chapter dedicated to what they call their BE golf playing procedure,
Okay.
which is essentially a 4-step routine designed to help you tap into your full potential on every shot.
Okay, I'm all ears. What's step 1?
Step 1 is be prepared. This is where you do all your pre-shot thinking and planning. You decide what you want the ball to do, the trajectory, the shape, the distance, and you choose one key swing thought to commit to.
So no more stepping up to the ball with a head full of conflicting swing thoughts and doubts.
Exactly. They really emphasize the importance of clarity and commitment in this first step.
Okay.
Setting yourself up for success before you even swing the club.
Yeah, it's like programming your mental GPS before you start the journey.
I like that analogy. Now, step 2 is be silent. This is where you quiet the mind.
Okay.
Eliminate distractions. Bring your focus to the present moment.
Achieving that elusive state of inner stillness.
That's it. They recommend various techniques for quieting the mental chatter, like focusing on your breath, feeling the ground beneath your feet, or simply observing the sights and sounds around you.
It's like a mini meditation before each shot.
It is.
Helping you to center yourself.
Helping you to center yourself. They argue that this state of presence allows you to access your subconscious skills and swing with more freedom and intuition. Step 3 is be committed, and it builds directly on the previous 2 steps.
Okay, tell me more about be committed.
This is where you fully commit to the swing thought you chose in step 1,
Okay.
and execute your swing without any hesitation or second guessing. It's about trusting your process and letting your body take over.
Total commitment to the plan.
Total commitment.
No looking back.
They believe that any doubt or indecision during your swing
Yeah.
will disrupt the flow and lead to inconsistent results.
It's like you got to trust your instincts and go for it.
Absolutely. And finally, step 4 is be aware. This is where the learning and growth happens after the shot is hit.
Okay. Let's hear about be aware. What does this final step involve?
It's all about reflecting on the shot, whether it was a good shot or a bad shot, and extracting valuable information from the experience. They encourage you to analyze the outcome, connect it back to your swing thoughts and decisions, and learn from both your successes and your mistakes.
So turning every shot into a learning opportunity.
Every shot's a learning opportunity. They even suggest using a simple 1 to 5 scale.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to rate yourself on each step of the procedure. How prepared were you? How silent were you? How committed were you? How aware were you after the shot?
Wow, that's a brilliant way to track your progress.
It is.
Hold yourself accountable. It's like giving yourself feedback on your own performance.
It is. And they provide a handy scorecard in the book
Oh, wow.
that you can use to track your ratings over time, identifying areas where you excel and areas where you can improve.
This is fantastic. I love how structured and intentional their approach is. It's like they've taken the guesswork out of improvement.
They even have a video series
Oh, wow.
that demonstrates the entire procedure, showing how it looks in action. It's incredibly helpful for visualizing each step and understanding the nuances.
That's fantastic. Okay, so we've covered the BE golf philosophy, the 4-step learning progression, the 10 principles, and their 4-step playing procedure. It's an incredibly comprehensive system.
It really is. But they don't just leave you with all this theory and expect you to figure it out on your own.
Okay, yeah.
They also provide real-world examples of how their approach has helped golfers overcome specific challenges.
Now that's what I'm talking about. I love seeing how these principles play out in real life. Tell me about some of those examples.
So they share the stories of 2 golfers, Steve and Chelsea,
Okay.
who were struggling with 2 of the most dreaded shots in golf, shanks and chunk chips.
Ouch. Those are tough ones. Everyone's worst nightmare.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And I think we can all relate to their struggle.
absolutely.
Well, for Steve, who was battling the shanks,
Yeah.
they helped him identify the root cause of his problem and develop a practice plan to correct it.
So it wasn't just about band-aiding the symptom.
No, It was about addressing the underlying issue in his swing.
So a more holistic approach, looking at his swing mechanics, his mindset, his pre-shot routine.
Exactly. And for Chelsea, who was constantly chunking her chips, they helped her simplify her technique, eliminate those extra swing thoughts that were cluttering her mind, and focus on feeling the weight of the club head swing through the ball.
So they helped her quiet the noise and trust her instincts.
Exactly. And both Steve and Chelsea saw significant improvement.
That's great.
After applying the BEE golf principles and playing procedure.
Awesome.
And their stories are really inspiring because they show that this approach can work for anyone, even those facing seemingly insurmountable challenges.
It gives you hope that no matter what you're struggling with,
There's a way to overcome it.
there's a way.
There's a way.
And to help golfers personalize this approach, they even provide a whole chapter on how to create your own personal golf roadmap,
They do.
taking everything they've taught and tailoring it to your specific needs and goals.
It's a step-by-step process.
Okay, tell me more about that. How does this personal roadmap work?
So it starts with a thorough self-assessment. They provide a series of questions and exercises to help you identify your strengths, weaknesses, tendencies, areas where you want to improve.
So it's about understanding yourself as a golfer.
Absolutely.
Like
Just
the
like they emphasized in the be self-aware principle.
It all ties together.
It all ties together. Then, based on that self-awareness,
You move on to goal setting.
you move on to goal setting. What specific aspects of your game do you want to improve? What scores do you want to shoot? What kind of golfer do you want to become?
Setting those clear, achievable goals.
Getting goals.
Yeah, to give yourself direction and motivation.
And finally, you create an action plan.
Okay.
This is where you take all the information you've gathered and you develop a personalized practice plan, incorporating the BE golf principles, the playing procedure, and any other strategies that resonate with you.
So you're putting all the pieces together and creating a roadmap for success.
Exactly. They even include sample training sheets
Oh, wow.
that you can use to track your progress, log your practice sessions, monitor your improvement over time. It's like having your own personal golf coach guiding you every step of the way.
Brilliant. They really provide all the tools you need to take your game to the next level.
They do, and they even go beyond their own methods.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they have a chapter with recommendations for other golf coaches and instructional resources.
Oh, wow.
So they're not afraid to point you in the right direction
Yeah.
if they feel someone else's expertise might benefit you.
That's a sign of true dedication to helping golfers improve.
It is.
They're not just selling their own brand. They're genuinely invested in helping people find the best resources for their needs.
Exactly. And I think that's what makes this book so valuable. It's not just a collection of tips and drills. It's a comprehensive philosophy of golf improvement,
Yeah.
backed by years of experience and a genuine desire to help golfers reach their full potential.
Well, they've certainly impressed me with their depth of knowledge and their commitment to the game. I'm feeling inspired to get out there and practice.
Me too.
Yeah.
And you know what? They cover one more crucial aspect of improvement,
Okay.
and that's practice itself.
Good.
They dedicate a whole section to explaining the different types of practice,
Right.
how to make the most of your time on the range.
Perfect. Let's dive into that.
So they break practice down into three main types: block, variable, and random.
Okay.
Block practice is what most people do, hitting the same shot over and over again, like 27 irons to the same target.
Okay. I've definitely done my fair share of block practice.
It has its place,
Yeah.
especially when you're working on a specific swing change or trying to groove a particular feel.
Yeah.
Then there's variable practice, which is mixing things up a bit.
Yeah.
Maybe you're working on your wedge game, and instead of hitting 20 balls to the same distance, you try different clubs, different trajectories, different distances.
So you're exploring different shots, developing a wider range of skills.
Exactly. It's more challenging than block practice,
Right.
but it also helps you develop adaptability and decision-making skills, which are crucial on the course. And finally, there's random practice,
Okay.
which they consider the ultimate test.
Okay. What makes random practice so special?
It's the closest you can get to simulating a round of golf on the range.
Okay.
Instead of hitting the same shot repeatedly, you're mixing up clubs, targets, distances, just like you would on the course. Maybe you hit a driver, then a wedge, then a 7-iron to different targets with no set pattern.
That sounds challenging, but incredibly beneficial.
It is. It forces you to think on your feet, make decisions, adapt to different situations, just like you would in a real game.
Yeah.
Gets you out of your comfort zone,
Yeah.
helps you develop those mental skills that are so crucial for success.
So they encourage golfers to incorporate all three types of practice into their routines.
They do. They believe each type has its own benefits and plays a role in developing a well-rounded game block practice for grooving fundamentals, variable practice for expanding your skill set, and random practice for simulating the mental and physical demands of the game.
Wow, they really leave no stone unturned. We've covered their philosophy, their learning progression, their 10 principles, their playing procedure, real-world examples, their personal golf roadmap,
Yeah.
and even their practice tips. It's incredible how much they've managed to pack into this book.
It really is. And I think it's a testament to their passion for the game and their commitment to helping golfers of all levels improve.
I'm already feeling inspired to take my game to the next level, and I haven't even read the whole book yet.
Well, I highly recommend you check it out. It's a treasure trove of insights and strategies, and I think you'll find it incredibly valuable on your golfing journey. It's remarkable how much they've packed in, like it's a complete roadmap for improvement.
Yeah, I feel like we've only scratched the surface. There's so much to digest.
And yet it all comes back to those core principles. Be free, be
Yeah.
process-focused, be adaptable. They're like guiding lights.
Yeah. Throughout your golfing journey.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm already thinking about how I can apply these ideas to my own game. I've got some work to do, but I'm excited to see the results.
That's the spirit. And remember, they emphasize that golf improvement is a journey. It's not a destination. There will be ups and downs, good days and bad days. The key is to embrace the process, keep learning, and never stop striving to get better.
Yeah, they make a great point about how golf is a game of constant adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about achieving some perfect swing and then just like coasting on that. It's about learning to adapt to the ever-changing conditions.
Internal and external.
Internal and external,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And that's what I find so fascinating about this book.
Mhm.
It doesn't just give you quick fixes or Band-Aid solutions.
Right.
It provides a framework
Yeah.
for lifelong learning and improvement on and off the course.
I also appreciate how they don't shy away from addressing the mental side of the game. So much of golf is what's happening between your ears.
Absolutely. It's that mental toughness, that
Mm.
ability to stay focused, stay positive, and bounce back from setbacks. That separates the good golfers from the great ones.
Yeah, and they provide so many practical strategies for strengthening that mental muscle.
Yeah.
Like their 4-step playing procedure is brilliant. Yeah. It's like a pre-shot routine on steroids, designed to help you tap into your full potential on every shot.
It is.
Yeah,
And it's not just about technique or mechanics.
right. It's about creating that mindset.
Creating a mindset of clarity, commitment, and awareness, which can benefit you in all areas of life, not just golf.
Absolutely. I love how they emphasize the importance of self-awareness. Knowing your strengths, your weaknesses, your tendencies, even your fears
Mm-hmm.
is crucial for making smart decisions out on the course.
Yeah, it's about becoming your own best coach.
Mm-hmm.
Constantly analyzing your game, finding ways to improve. And they even encourage golfers to seek out feedback from others,
Yeah.
whether it's a coach, a friend, or even a video camera.
Yeah, I think that's a valuable lesson no matter what you're striving for in life.
Yeah.
Be open to feedback. Be willing to learn and never stop growing.
Couldn't have said it better myself. This deep dive into bee golf has been incredibly enlightening. And I think it's safe to say that this book is a must-read for any golfer who's serious about taking their game to the next level.
I completely agree. It's a game changer, filled with insights and strategies that can benefit golfers of all skill levels.
So to all you golfers out there, I encourage you to check out BE Golf and discover the power of this BE philosophy for yourself. You might just surprise yourself with what you're capable of achieving.
Thank you for joining. Like and subscribe to our channel.